Dr. VP Sharma and Dr. Kokate has shared their vast amount of experience. So now we will be sharing experiences from ICRISAT in the field of ICT innovations. And I would now like to request Dr. Suman Kumar to present the experiences from ICRISAT. He will be joined with my colleague Nilesh Mishra. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Kanika. Good morning to everybody. In this particular session, we will discuss about various ICT initiatives from ICRISAT targeting farmers, and we will also discuss how ICRISAT has evolved in the field of ICT for development over a period of time. Like we started developing ICT for development applications in 1998. In this last 15 years, how we have evolved over a period of time, what the things we have learned and what is worked and what not worked, everything we will discuss in this session. I think by this time you are aware of the vision and mission of the ICRISAT. Basically, we will be doing the basic research on 5 mandate dryland crops, that is groundnut, sorghum, pigeon pea, chickpea and pearl millet. And our mission is to reduce poverty, hunger, malnutrition in dryland areas, dryland tropics of the world. We have our presence in 7 locations in Africa, and the headquarters is present in Patancheru, Telangana. If you see the coverage of dryland areas are there in 55 countries, spreading across 6.5 million square kilometers, and around 2.5 billion people are living in the dryland areas. Out of total world population of 7 billions, 2.5 billion people are living in the dryland areas. So mostly the people who are living in the dryland semi-arid tropics, they are devoid of information. Information is not available to them compared to the farmers who are raising agriculture in the canal system. So providing information to these farmers, smallholder farmers, specifically in the area of dryland semi-arid tropics, would bring a lot of impact. That's why we have developed many applications under the umbrella of Center of Excellence in ICT Innovations for Agriculture. Under the umbrella of this Center of Excellence, we basically develop ICT applications for 2 kinds of people. One is elite group, that is people who can read and write and who has got basically formal education, and the other group is who cannot read and write, basically illiterate people. Generally, most of the farmers may be of that kind. So we clearly distinguish the applications which we target elite group and which we target smallholder farmers. I think you have seen by this time the applications that we have developed for elite group, like you might have seen KSA Connect, by which we can conduct virtual classrooms, virtual workshops, virtual seminars, whatever seminars, workshops that we are conducting in a research organization in the universities, that can be done by being without people moving physically to the concerned university, being at their places, being together with their family members, they can do that one. And you might have seen the OER, open application resources, by which you can, whatever the research publications that are produced in a research organization can be shared with the global community by using open agricultural resources. That is also an open source application. Yesterday you have seen Dataverse application, that is an open source. All these applications here that you have seen till now are targeting the elite group. Now in this session we will see the applications which we have developed targeting smallholder farmers. So you are aware that there are many problems that are coming up nowadays, especially the climate change one, which is the biggest challenge. And to mitigate these challenges, the only way out is to provide the mitigating technologies to the farmers. If you see the field of agriculture, so and that can be done effectively by ICT tools. So if you see the current ICT for development, traditional extension system is working good, but only thing that we say is that is not adequate. So we need to have some ICT tools in place to augment the traditional extension system. The current scenario, if you see, the expert to farmers ratio is around 1:2000, and the capacity contact intensity of by any government extension agent is per each farmer only 40 minutes. And we have around 6 lakhs 75,000 villages in India, and we need those many extension personnel to transfer the good agriculture practices effectively to the smallholders, and it is impossible because of less and less investments coming in state and central government. So this is clearly where we have ICT has got a good role to play. So initially we studied how the smallholders are getting information regarding agriculture practices, what fertilizer, how much fertilizer need to put, what pesticide, how much pesticide need to be sprayed. So this is the result of the study. If you see the thick lines indicate the relatively strong links, like basically farmers are getting either from relatives and friends or their neighbor farmers, basically majorly progressive farmers. They are getting most of the information from them. That may be sometimes correct, sometimes may not be scientific and incorrect. So if you leave those two things, more majorly they are getting from input suppliers and shops, fertilizer dealers. Again, if you see here, majorly they may get incorrect suggestions. Why? Because dealers and input suppliers, they are more concerned about their welfare instead of smallholder. If somebody is having more fertilizer, more pesticide of a particular brand, he will try to sell it out, that brand. So that's where the problems are happening, and very less information is coming from government and local departments compared to neighbors and relatives, and less information from TV, newspapers. So if you see the NSSO study in 2005, it also indicates the same thing, like major information is coming from progressive farmers, and next they are getting major information from input dealers, TV and radio. So we have started our study area in Adakal, one of the major dot bone area in Mahabubnagar district. We have started working with them since 1998. Actually, Adakal is a mandal which is having a cluster of 21 villages, and we have established a hub in the Adakal mandal itself, by where we have provided a village knowledge center kind of setup. We have provided computer, we have provided, now it is a full setup kind of thing. They have got also Wi-Fi router also, by which they, whenever they come there, they use village network administrators. We have provided tablets, 21 tablets. When they come to the village knowledge center, they get connected to the internet and ICRISAT servers by using these kinds of Wi-Fi routers. Complete technology setup is there, which is a low cost one. And if you are interested, I can provide the list of equipments that you have got in our village knowledge centers after this session. So initially what we have observed is, we don't go entirely by, we do extension basically, not completely by using ICT. Wherever ICT doesn't work, we go with the traditional extension system. Definitely whichever is effective, we need to go with that one. So what we have observed is, when we started working there, uh, they are not going for crop rotation initially. Whatever the rainfall available, whether whatever the IMD predictions, they don't go by that one. They go only for paddy. That is the only thing that they used to raise initially. But we told many times that we need to do the crop rotation by growing some other legume crops at least during Rabi season. So we thought of providing substantiating that one scientifically. So we prepared various drought maps like that one. So the drought map indicates, if the rainfall is less than 400 mm, what are the villages that will get affected. That is a clear dot map for, I think, 400 mm. So the villages that are in red color, they will get affected if rainfall is less than 400 mm. That's what it indicates. If rainfall is less than 500 mm, there are some other dot maps. We prepared around 10 dot maps and we explained them clearly. As per the predictions, we have prepared these dot maps based on historical data, and we predicted the rainfall for the ensuing season, and we got it correlated from IMD as well. And we have clearly said these villages going to be affected. There won't be any rains. You will have much. We don't have much water. You should not go to you should not raise paddy crop in that location. So they have gone for alternative crops like pigeon pea and chickpea, where they have got substantial income. Otherwise, they would have completely whatever they have input cost, they might have not got that one. So that's why we have helped initially, and we proved that we are providing scientific information to them. Then they are listening to us. They started listening to us. So after that, we established, I think in 2002, 2003, we established the first generation of ICT for D approaches, we started a village knowledge center to start with. We provided computers with internet connectivity, and we used to provide all the information by websites. So the main problem in this is the links to end user. Farmer need to come to the village knowledge center and need to access the information by browsing the websites. One thing is he need to come to the village knowledge center, which is little bit difficult kind of thing. And we observed whoever is coming regularly, they are coming repeatedly and the others are not coming. And the third one is uh, many farmers, if they are unable to read and write, they won't come here. So these are the problems that we had heard in the first generation of ICT-FDI approaches. Even in sub-Saharan Africa also, PC-based delivery systems were picking up. Like they used to put in the website like they have that much amount of PGNP or chickpea available with them, so that the nearby market people they used to come and they used to take it. That's a kind of information sharing kind of thing, but it was not much effective. So we have started second generation of ICT for D approaches, like to establish the last mile connectivity. We targeted mobile device. In 2005-2006, I think there was a people. So mobile penetration is like anything major. Even among the farmers also, it was around more than 70% have got mobiles that time. So we started targeting mobiles of the farmers. So we, as a part of NIP project, we started a Voice Krishi Vigyan Kendra project. I think many of you are aware of that one. So as a part of that project, we provided a toll-free number by to which farmer need to call. We were covering around 80 kVKs. The main thing is the server system, which is having the entire data of information. If we take 1 kVK, we used to register 5 experts from 1 kVK and some 100 farmers from each kVK. So total number of personnel that got registered with the system from each kVK is around 105. Let us assume the figure. So likewise, we covered around 80 kVKs. 80 into 105, that many people's database is present in the system, and their mobile numbers, their email addresses if they have. So we provided logins to the web interface to the scientists of 5 scientists of the KVK. When a farmer calls to that particular toll-free number, the system immediately recognizes this farmer belongs to the KVK. He is a farmer. First, it will identify immediately based on the mobile number. He is a farmer, and this farmer belongs to the particular KVK. So the system automatically records. We used to have 2 servers here. One is the server which is having dialogic card, which is connected to telephone line. That means when some farmer calls a toll-free number, that server directly receives the call. So it will completely record the call and it will store that call into the system in the second server where we have a list of all the voice files, calls made by the farmers, and immediately we used to push to an expert of that particular KVK. If he didn't receive the call, if he receives the call, whatever farmer says, he will listen. So if he didn't receive the call, that entire audio file will get saved into the server. During evening times, he can log into the system, he can listen to that call, he can answer to that call by using a desktop computer system or laptop or tablet, whatever. So again, once he answered, that will be pushed to the farmer. So that's how we are working. That was a very good system. But only thing is, after the completion of project, the services were stopped because there was a lot of call costs involved in that. For each message that we are pushing to the farmer, mobile service providers used to charge 80 paisa. So let us assume that we are pushing. There is some message that we need to send today. Let us assume that today is some 20th day after sowing for pigeon tree crop, and we need to push some message tomorrow. We have around 5,000 community farmers here in Adakal. So let us assume that we need to push to all 5,000 community farmers 5,080 paisa is being charged. And we are pushing nowadays, let's forget about this, we are pushing around 5 messages per day. It comes around 2 lakhs per day for call cost itself. So that's a big money, and we were meeting those call costs in weekly projects and the project money. So most of the ICT projects, if you see in last 1 decade after completion of project period, services are stopped. So to avoid this one, because we have come up with one model which I will discuss with you later. So that is about all second generation of ICT for D approaches. Later, this has come, I think, morning, Dr. V.P. Sharma sir, he was explaining about NKN and NYFN in India. I think NKN everybody is aware, NYFN also, I think, most of you are aware. So, in NKN, the beauty of this one is the availability of bandwidth. Initially, they provide 100 Mbps bandwidth. If you see our residential broadband, we call broadband for 254 kbps, I think 256 kbps. So, into 4, 1 Mbps, into 100, 100 Mbps. That much bandwidth availability that connection provides. Initially, they started NKN. Afterwards, NYFN, Bharat Broadband has started. During that time, NKN, initially they used to provide 100 Mbps. If the usage is more than 90% of the bandwidth provided, you will be automatically pushed to the next slot. That means they provide 1 Gbps bandwidth. If the usage is again 90, more than 90%, again you will go to the next band. Like that, they can provide up to a maximum of 100 Mbps, 100 Gbps connection, which is huge and enormous. So bandwidth is not an issue as mentioned by Dr. Sharma. So huge bandwidth is available, but again this is inside NKN and NYFN. NYFN, I think you are aware, it connects all gram panchayats. It is targeting around 2,50,000 gram panchayats, and complete gram panchayats of India. And work is started in 95,420 gram panchayats at this point of time. So once all the village gram panchayats are connected to NYFN, there is a huge bandwidth availability is there. So if I want to download a file from the system of other gram panchayat, the bandwidth availability is 100 Mbps. If I want to download a file from Yahoo Mail, it is only 1 Mbps or 2 Mbps. So within NKN and NYFN, the bandwidth availability is minimum 100 Mbps. If I go to Yahoo Mail, Yahoo server is in US or Bangalore somewhere else. It is out of NKN and NYFN network. It will be very slow. So if I want to talk to some of our community of farmers in Gram Panchayat, I can do that. 100 Mbps is available. KSA Connect, we can establish clear without any delay in this video. We can clearly talk to them as if we are sitting in front of them. So these infrastructures are available now. So we need to develop, design. Anybody need to develop and design applications based on these infrastructures. So we were discussing about sustenance of ICT applications. So to sustain ICT applications, even after completion of the project period, we have come up with this Green Fabric application. It's basically two products in this. This is what we are doing currently. Okay. There are two products in this, Krishi Janasagar and Krishi Vani. Krishi Janasagar is a tablet-based application system. This is a tablet-based application system which is implemented using pull-based approach. Like we provide this tablet to a village network administrator or info entrepreneur or extension person we may call. We are not giving directly to farmers. We cannot provide to all the farmers, right? So we provide to only info entrepreneur. Generally covers around 500 to 1,000 farmers. Generally he may cover around 3 to 5 villages. So initially when we provide this one, we will have application installed in this, which is completely blank. We provide username and login to this particular info entrepreneur. Once he logs into that one, he need to connect to our server initially for the first time. That means how he will connect? He need to go to the village knowledge center and he need to connect to the Wi-Fi router because Wi-Fi is enabled here. So he can connect to the internet. Once he connect to the internet, he need to synchronize entire information from our server. That means initially there won't be anything. So he need to get all the information from Ecrisat servers to this particular tablet by pressing a sync button. It will take initially 10-15 minutes to get all the information from the server. The beauty of this one is, based on the login credentials that he has provided, system will identify the locality and it will provide the soil maps of that particular district, package of practices related to the cropping systems of that particular area, and all those information customized to that area will be downloaded. So if we provide some login of Karnataka, so this is being implemented in Bhuchetan project also. So it is completely implemented in all the areas. So if some Karnataka login being used, they will receive materials in Kannada language. clearly, and they will receive the maps of Kolar district or Raichur district or depending upon the login clearly. So initially you need to synchronize with the server. So this has got basically two versions. One is the tablet one, the other one is website is there, web interface is there, which we provide to the officers to manage the resources, to monitor the resources, to monitor the ground activity. We provide web interface to only officials. So when we start operating in a new area, we provide this tablet to info entrepreneurs. They will go to the villages and they will register the farm. They will start registration of the farmers. So let us assume that I am an extension person, info entrepreneur. I am targeting 500 farmers. I will go to the concerned village. I will start registration. There is a screen. Nilesh will demonstrate all the screens after my presentation. So once I am done with registration of all the farmers, I will get all the farmers' name, their mobile numbers, how many farms that particular farmer has got. Let us assume that a farmer is having only 1 acre of land and he is raising 4 crops. Then we will register that land as a 4 farms because each crop is different. Other farmer may be having 50 acres and he may be raising only one crop. Then we will register that farm as a 1 crop. So next season he may change the crops. So farms are specific to that particular season, whereas farmer information is a permanent one. So once their registration is done, our soil scientists will go there and they collect the soil sample scientifically. We will get them analyzed here in our laboratories. We will get to know the NPK content and micronutrient content of those particular lands, and we will upload that into the EcriSat servers. Then the system automatically calculates based on the because we have registered the farms, how much area that he has got, what crop that he is going to raise, what is the level of NPK at this country. With these 3 things, we can easily predict. We can tell exactly how much fertilizer need to be applied in that particular farm. So once we put that information in the servers, system automatically we have programmed such a way that system automatically calculates the recommendations. We will say to the farm facilitators, come to VKC once and sync with our servers. All the information is uploaded. They will sync it and all the information related to his target farmers will be received, depending upon the login again. So then farmer probably in Bhuchetan what we are doing is, we have got at present in pilot project, we have got around 40,000 farmers in Bhuchetan. So we are procuring fertilizers for all the 40,000 farmers by us only. We talk to directly, we means government of Karnataka and ourselves. We talk to manufacturers directly, we will procure fertilizer requirements, fertilizer for these 40,000 from you only. Because we are forming a farming community where we will increase the bargaining power, right? We will procure from you only, you tell me for how much price we need this much fertilizer. Because of this, there are 2 advantages. One is we are arresting the excessive use of fertilizer application completely. The other thing is remunerative prices. The person you will decrease a little bit at least, and upon that government also in Karnataka specifically, government also giving some subsidies, so it's coming down. It is farmer is getting it at around 60% price of the actual price. So that is what happening. So 2 advantages in this. Apart from that, we have this is the information flow how it will happen in tablet based application. We have got Android apps there. We can do a partial sync and full sync. Once sync is done, the entire farmer's information will be in the central database server. So once I have entered all the farmer's information, if I lost this one also, no issue. I can get a new tablet, I can log into with my username and password, I can retrieve entire information from central database. It is available safe. So if something happens to this one also, my information is safe in the central server. So we provide web application to the officials for monitoring, like how many farmers are registered in a particular day by the info entrepreneur. If he registers in a particular day 50 farmers, why only 10 farmers in the next day? You can ask question. Date wise you will get reports, how many have been registered. You can see where he was exactly, because this has got GPS sensor. When he was registering, where he was, whether he was in village or he was in Mandal headquarter. If he is in Mandal headquarter, you can ask how he has registered without going to the village. So we are capturing complete stuff. You can take the photograph, you need to take the photograph of the farmer also. So complete information will be available to the officials to monitor the activity at ground level. And we are providing best practices in the local language for the cropping systems present in that particular location. And we provide GIS maps as well, soil maps of that particular district. We collect the soil samples and we will generate the recommendations and we will push it to the database server. Again, by doing full sync, it will retrieve. It's a bidirectional full sync means it sends tablet sends information to the server and receives also. So it will receive complete information. That's how data flow happens in Precision Sagar. So I'll come back to this one. Before we discuss mobile commerce and what are our future plans, this is what we did till now, what are our future plans and all. I request Nilesh to show the various screens of the mobile application.
Thank you, Dr. Suman. So we'll be just looking at what are different applications and tools we are using under this knowledge sharing and innovations program. So as Dr. Dilip and Dr. Suman have mentioned about the Center of Excellence for ICT Innovations in Agriculture. So the idea is to bring the most innovative tools and technologies and the applications through which we can transfer the information or the knowledge available at this research center or different state agricultural universities or experts, subject matter specialists. So how we can take this knowledge, those informations to the farmers. So as you mentioned, the first generation, second generation and third generation of applications. So it's basically how we are evolving with time, with fast changing technologies, and how best we are bringing those technologies and bringing these applications and tools. So basically we are having these three applications. The two applications and the three tools, which is the KGS, the Krishi Gyan Sagar application, which is said that tablet-based application, which is push-based application, pull-based application, where we are handling the information, registering the farmers' details, and we develop the application thanks to our partner Nung System, who has been our technology partners for developing the applications, and we are capturing all the information from the farmers, and based on the georeference locations or that particular district, we are giving the recommendation which is automated. Once we enter the farmer's detail, the land area and how much farming he have, the system automatically generates the recommendation, fertilizer recommendation for that particular area. So just take you through the different screens of the Krishi Gyan Sagar application. We have different three modules in that. One is the basic registration of the farmers. So if you see, so this is the home screen of the application. This for the basic application is like registration of the farmer. The second one is the new training record. The second one is the new training record. Like whenever the extension officers or the farm facilitators are going into the field to whom we are providing these tablets, they can also record their activities for what particular day they have visited that particular farm. Like suppose they are conducting some training program or a farmer field school type of program. So even that can be recorded with this application. The other one is the new field visit. So then again, like if they are visiting in a general daily routine kind of a visits they are giving to the farmer fields. So those things can be recorded here. So once we click on the new farmer registration screen, so this is the format in which we are capturing the information, like the first name, second name, his father's detail, mail, mobile number, the ID and all those things are also we have kept like in future. We suppose we are taking the information about the farmers over a period of time if required, we can map his IDs with different government scheme for the subsidy program and all those things. So those information also we are capturing. And then how much rainfed area he has, the irrigated plantation, and from which taluk here. So basically if you see the username is given there like farm facilitator TMKR23. So that is for a person who is a farm facilitator in Tumkur district. So each farm facilitator has a different user ID who is assigned at a particular village and for that particular village, he is responsible to register all the farmers. So in that sense, we are also categorizing the list of farmers for which particular district or particular village we are having. So, and then we have the photograph feature also of the farmer that we have to take. So all these informations are geotagged. As he said, like we are having that authenticity also, that whatever information we are capturing is authentic and from the ground. It's not like somebody sitting at home can enter the information and upload it. No, that may not match with the georeference data of that particular location. So that data authenticity is also one factor we are providing with this application. So once we register the complete data here, then we have to save it and the complete information will remain in the tablet. This is how we create a list of registered farmers. So all the farmers, whatever we have registered, will be available here in the application at first. So you can just open the recommendations part. Yeah. So this is how, based on the land area and the plantation that the farmer is going to adopt or is doing, so this application will automatically give the recommendation, the fertilizer recommendations for that particular farmer or that particular area. You have to select the particular crop for which crop you want the recommendations. So these numbers will automatically change. It's we have that backend calculations. The application is automated, so we will get that information automatically. So again, these the second last column you can see is the farms. Like a particular farmer can have a number of farms. So we can register n number of farm in that particular farmer's name. So as of now, we haven't entered any information here with respect to the farmer fee. So, but we have that facility here. So then the next one is the maps. Just click on that. We can also see that Google Maps attached to these farmers' information. Zoom out. Zoom out. Yeah, sometimes what happens is when we have the electrical hindrance, so the GPS locations may vary a little. Sometimes because of the electromagnetic rays and all those, it differs sometimes. The farmers thing. Production. Yes. So this was the, like once we register all the farmers, the data will remain into the tablet. So once those information has been captured, I mean the farmer details, then we have to sync those farmer details with the server. So all those data goes and sit into the server, which is at the central location, like in our case will be at ICRISAT RDS department. So then go to production package. Yeah. So this we have also provided the facility for the production of packages and the pest control information in the PDF format. Like it's kind of a Wikipedia kind of a thing within the tablet itself, that if for a particular location he wants to see a production of packages for different crops, for a particular crop, so he can just select the go to production of packages. Then we have to just select the crop type and all the information will be available in the local language. So it's kind of PDF information. Electronic book kind of a thing, which will be available at that particular time. Yes. Production in similar way, we have the information of the pest control and for different crops and just for the pulses and groundnut we have as of now. So it can be customized and we can increase the number of information or the booklets in an electronic form, wherever we are implementing these kind of applications. So the other feature is like the soil maps also. As Dr. Suman mentioned that the soil testing was already done and those information has been digitized and all made available in here. So the farm facilitators and all can have those ready available district soil maps of that particular district, which is also there in this tablet application. Yeah, go to the home screen. The new training record. So this new training record feature is like earlier what happens is like the farm facilitator or the extension officer, if they visit to the field, they may either note those things in a pen and paper, and sometimes it is available with them, sometimes it's not available. Even then compiling the data and giving the report to the departments also, sometimes it's make then some mistakes will be there. So it's like providing all the information in a digitized form, and that information can be updated in a real-time manner from wherever remote locations is available. The only thing is he need to have that internet connectivity. So like the training levels from what state, district, taluk, and what was the feedback and from the training that has happened. So all those information with geo-referenced reference information with the participants number and also all those information we are capturing here in the digitized format, which is available in a real-time manner from one location across all the location through the server. In the similar way, we have go back. We can see those reports from the server, what we have from on-ground data we have collected with this one. We can see in the server. So in the similar way, we have that new training record and the field visits also. So for what purpose the field visit was like this? So like this was basically for the Bhu Chetna program, like so for what purpose that visit was made, like watershed meeting or different meeting or it's in the district level meeting with the JD office and all. So those information can be captured with this application and updated in the server. So we have all those information in a digitized form for further analysis or future references. So once we save all those information here, so if you see the top information, the logo, we have to just click on those links and it will ask for the full synchronization or a partial. We have to do the full synchronization only once when a new person is logging to the application. So that, as Dr. Suman mentioned, that at first the application is empty. With a particular person, the farm facilitator, with his user login and ID, once he enters, he has to sync, do the full synchronization. So any information which is linked to that particular district, with that, actually it's a role-based access, what we call. So all those farm facilitator from whichever district he is connected, and all those soil maps, different information about the villages, all this will come and the application will be updated in that format. But we have to do the partial synchronization when we have to upload the data to the server. So in that case, we have to do the partial synchronization. So this was about the application level in the tablet. So earlier we were using the Samsung tabs, but now we are trying to come up with a ruggedized tablet, what is called, which is more suitable to like use in the agricultural lands, and suppose it's water resistance, dust resistance. So all those adverse climatic conditions of the agricultural fields and all, so we are trying to bring that kind of tool for the farm facilitators. You can have a look. We are trying to still enhance these applications with our partner Nung systems.
So this is the web interface that we provide access to the officials and managers of the project to look to monitor the ground activity. So once you log in as administrator, you will be able to see the farmers of all the locations. Whereas in the tablet, depending upon the login, you will be able to see only your farmers. Here it is a full list of farmers available. Once he syncs with the server, whatever he registers, that name also comes here. This is the one. You can select the district and the soil map of that particular district will come up. Field map means photograph. That once he syncs that one, you can come here. So you can see the report as a manager. You can see the report like there is a recommendation inventory for each taluk. You can select the district. You can drill down to a particular taluk and for a particular crop in that particular taluk. Bagalkot, Badami taluk. You can select any crop. You can select value. This is the recommendation. I think we haven't done any soil testing in your location. So this is the fertilizer recommendation for Bilgi Taluk of Bagalkot for beetroot. Is it correct, madam? Is it okay? This is the fertilizer recommendation.
So this just now I have entered that farmer detail, like some dummy data I have entered here. So sync, we have to do the partial synchronization for that. So all those informations are uploaded to the server side. Application address. So this is the information that we have just registered, and now it's in the server from this tablet application. This one. So in this format we have the complete report here, which can be again, if required, can be downloaded in the PDF or Excel format if you want it. Otherwise it's available there in a digitized format on the server. Yeah. So this was like server side information, whatever we are capturing from the ground. So this server, the person who is administering the server applications can have all those information from on ground, whatever is being synced to the server. Now, so these are the specifications which we are trying to come out with this tablet, ruggedized tablet applications. It's a dust proof and waterproof. So like IP56, so these are the ratings for which we gives for the ingress protections. So that it certifies that yes, this particular tablet is rugged one and we can be used in those conditions what we are promising here. And the shock proof, shake proof, and operating temperature is like from -20 to 60 degrees. And configuration detail, like So since we will be registering a lot of information from on ground, like when we are taking the pictures also, so the picture size will be like somewhere around 700 to 800 KB. So each farmer we register is like almost around 1 MB of information. So when we register a lot of number of farmers, so the tablet should have that configuration or the capacity to register and sync those information in an easy and a fast manner. So that's where we are having the 1.2 gigahertz processors and 1 GB RAM plus it's extendable up to 8 GB there. And the camera feature also available in this now with the front and back cameras. So which is the 2 megapixel and the 8 megapixel respectively. Earlier we were having this 10-inch tablets for this part, but it was little bulky, so we thought to come with the 7-inch tablet screen. This was the earlier one which we were using. The connectivity part, like at some locations we don't have this the GPRS internet connectivity over the mobile networks and all. So in that case, what we recommend to the farm facilitators, they can do the registrations here. I mean, when they are on the field, but sometimes mobile networks are not; those things are not available. So in that case, we have that connectivity with the Wi-Fi also, so that once they suppose after 2 days they visit to the nearest location of the JDA office where they have that internet connectivity, they can sync the complete information. And this is with the latest Android operating systems, which is an again open source. So this is just like any normal tablet applications we are having with these features, like for the SIM cards, micro SD cards, the volume control, power off, and the mic information. So it's not available as such, but we are customizing it for this purpose. Again, the USB slot and the camera information. So this gives you about the information about the temperature and what temperature these applications can be used, and also sometimes the battery backup and all, for how much time this tablet we can use in the field. So it's having a good battery backup with almost a full day activity. It's from morning to till evening, like 8 hours almost. It will get the battery backup there.
Very bright sunlight, like how much the processor generates the heat, whether we can tolerate that one or not. It is moderate, like it generates as if normal tablet, it generates moderate heat. That's what we compare here. And being this one having IPS panel, even in day bright sunlight also you can see clearly. You can see the tablet screen very clearly. But only thing with what will happen with other tablets is once we go to the bright sunlight, things are not visible clearly. But here with this one, because of IPS panel, it is very tough. Nothing will happen, and it is very clearly visible. Even if you throw this also, nothing will happen. So
That's where we are saying like, no, it's a rugged one, and that's how we are using. And we call it as a phablet now because it's an integration of a phone plus tablet. So that's how we are calling it a green phablet, since we are using for the agricultural application purpose. So the other application, the tools which we are using is the Pico projector, and so can you
Nilesh, before that one, I would like to cover a small topic. Just wanted to cover a small topic about mobile commerce. If you compare between Kenya and India, you know the population is around 150 crores in India, whereas 3.9 crores in Kenya, and the tele density is almost similar. And the number of mobile users in Kenya and India is it's around 900 million here, whereas 23.4 million there in Kenya. But the registered mobile commerce applications in Kenya is more, like 14 million mobile commerce application people are using, whereas in India it's around only the 0.1 million. So mobile commerce is, it's only Airtel, yes. So we have mobile commerce initiative from Airtel and Vodafone, like Airtel Money is there and Vodafone M-Pesa is there. So we are planning to put those mobile commerce things with our application, like by developing a buy sell platform. It's a module, like we have seen 4 modules are available: farmers module, package of practices, soil maps, and other report section. So like that, we wanted to build a buy sell platform by which we can connect farmer directly with the consumers as well as input suppliers. Like in case of Karnataka, what we are doing is, we are government of Karnataka and ICRISAT, we formed a community of farmers in this particular pilot. Around 40,000 farmers are there. We are bargaining, like basically we are getting inputs at a lesser price. Likewise, we wanted to implement the same thing in other locations. We are working in Adakal and Anantapur also. When the number of farmers registered in this application becomes more, let us say more than 5,000 farmers, we can go to the, we can allow the farm producer company to go to the manufacturers and we will procure all the fertilizer requirements, because we will give the fertilizer recommendations to those farmers, by which they will get to know the exact fertilizer requirement. So they can ask the manufacturers, like we will procure only from you, but how much subsidy that you can provide. At the same time, sell platform also we are planning. We are targeting much on sell platform, like if you see the farm produce at which farmers are selling at field is much different at the price at which consumer is procuring. If you see the sweet orange crop, for example, if we take in Nalgonda district, farmer is selling at a price of 9,000 rupees, 8,000 rupees per ton. At the same time, we are procuring at a price of 35 to 40 rupees in our supermarkets, which comes around 35,000 to 40,000 tons. Because this is because of there are some 3-4 layers of middlemen are available in between producer and consumer. We wanted to do a pilot test, like connecting farmers directly with the consumers by avoiding middlemen, at least the farmers who are nearby to the cities. So our plan is to start register consumers also in this application. We wanted to bring consumers also in this particular tablet application by building one more module. Like we are targeting graded communities of Hyderabad, where in each community more than 1,000 families are living. So likewise, if we can target around 5 communities, 5,000 consumers will get their email addresses and mobile numbers. We are already registered 500 consumers. We have data of their mobile numbers and email addresses. We can have this tablet application to sync with our email server, so that automatic emails will get generated to those emails about the produce that is available with the farmers. So once consumers are boarded into the application, we will register, let us assume that red gram farmers of Adakal district. So that many red gram they have by the next weekend. That many produce of sweet orange they may have by the weekend. We will generate continuous emails to the, we will share only resources being said. We are not going to into the business activity. Let farm produce organization or any incubated company may do that one. Like arranging, they may sell at a price of 30 rupees per case or 25 rupees per case. So consumer is getting 10 rupees benefit and farmer also getting 15 rupees benefit. They can raise some, they can keep some amount for them as well, and so that this application will raise some resource generation, which can be used for further development of application. But we are not into the business. We will share the resources, like we will share the tablets, we will share our server resources, we will share the database of consumers, we will share the database of our farmers. We will allow them to connect to each other by using our thing. We need to see how it works, whether it will be successful or not. We need to see that one down the line. So there is one more concept is coming, like Bitcoin. It's a digital currency, like which allows a farmer in Mizoram state who is not having a business entrepreneur company, who is not having even a bank license, he can sell a produce to the somebody who is residing in other country. So basically, it's a digital currency which is supported by peer-to-peer network of computers. So once the farmer transfers his produce to the consumer, you can Google it. A lot of information is available. It's only present in US at this point of time, where as August 2013, the value of all bitcoins in circulation exceeded 1.5 billion, with $1 million worth of bitcoins exchanged daily. So that is the transaction happening. It's not legal in many countries. People are trying to understand this one, because suppose let us assume that I am selling a produce to you. You need to provide some bitcoins to me. and this transaction will be maintained in a public domain, complete public domain, anybody can see. So likewise, initially, how you can get bitcoins is you can procure some bitcoins by going to authorized agency. You will have some, let us assume that some 10 bitcoins. Each bitcoin value is around $120 as on today. So if you have 10 bitcoins, if I sell some produce to you, you can share some bitcoins to me. And this is completely available in the pub. Nobody controls, no control, no administration is there. It's an open source software which both of us need to install in our computer. You can transfer some bitcoins to me and I can provide the produce to you. We are researching on this. This is very in primitive state. It is not legal in many countries. Valuation. As per my understanding, whatever the so let us assume that I have some 10 tons of something. I may say I will sell at a price of 10,000 rupees per ton. 10 tons means that money value. Current value of Bitcoin is $116. So that many Bitcoins you need to transfer 0.778 Bitcoins. I'm not, frankly speaking, I'm not aware of that one. So it varies from day to day. Sometimes it will be $123. Even we are also researching into that one. You can also Google that one. It's a system that is arriving. So it will be the people believe, many of people believe that it will be the future transaction platform. Bitcoins will be because you can transact with anybody without having bank account and without having any entrepreneur in place. So we are also come up with a pest monitoring module like this we have come up based on the requirement of NG Ranga Agriculture University. They have, I think you are aware, dot centers is there. One person is to visit the entire district and you need to monitor if any pest or any disease is there in an epidemic manner or endemic manner. So for noting that one, they wanted to note it with a tablet, and so that over a period of time we can build a knowledge system like every year in that particular area pest is coming. We can see the patterns like after 10 years down the line. We can mine the entire data so that we can next year, probably every year it is coming in that area, this particular pest, how to take care of the crop during the next year. We can come up with some solutions. For that one, they requested us. We have developed this one. We are it is under testing basically at this point of time. So Krishivani, okay. Krishivani, actually this is a tablet basically, it's a phone plus tablet where you can insert a SIM so that you can receive calls and do calls. So in this Krishivani, what we are doing is we have established a partnership with IKSL, who is providing platform for this one, for the providing information to our community of farmers. In this one, we are it's a push-based platform by which we are pushing the information directly to the mobile numbers of farmers. Farmers will get incoming calls daily. We are sending 5 messages, 3 in the morning, 2 in the evening. They will get incoming calls which they need to pick up, and they can listen for 1.5 minutes with the duration of the call. Recently, we have started a project for Pigeon Pea value chain in Adakal. So we have provided the Pigeon Pea seed as well to them. So that is of 180 days duration hybrid. So we are in the process of developing a database on which day which message need to be pushed to the farmer. What are the critical stages in that crop? What is the flowering? When we need to irrigate that one? Likewise, all the critical stages we need to address, and we are in the process of developing voice-based files for that particular voice-based database, so that we can push automatically with the help of IKSL directly to the farmers. So in this one, what we are doing is in Anantapur we cross around 5,000 farmers. Like we have provided green SIM to 5,000 farmers. In this, for each new customer, IKSL is providing 10 rupees to the infant entrepreneurs. That's how they have generated around 31,000 Indian rupees in 15 working days by providing new SIMs to our farmers. At the same time, our infant entrepreneurs, they have replaced the Airtel agents for selling recharge coupons. A farmer who gets green SIM, he does, it's just a kind of a normal SIM only with additional facility of receiving advisories from us. So he does normal calls also, like calling his relatives and friends. So for which he need to do the recharge of the with the talk time. So info entrepreneurs are selling the recharge coupons nowadays, by which they are again generating 2.8%, I think, 2.8% of the talk time that they are selling. So research generation, they have virtually replaced the Airtel agents in the system. So it's a win-win situation for all the parties involved, like ICRISAT, IKSL, and farmers, because we are able to directly communicate to the farmers. It's a financially sustainable platform where IKSL agreed to provide this platform for next 27 years free of cost. We can directly communicate to the farmers. Like, let us assume that we wanted to meet all the farmers, we wanted to organize a meeting day after tomorrow. We can send a message directly to IKSL, which they will push all to all the farmers tomorrow morning. So everybody will receive. Otherwise, I need to inform somebody again. They will inform the village representative. He need to go each and farmer. That's not required now. Directly, we can push a bulk message to all the farmers, and so that everybody will be present after tomorrow training programs. So this is happening, and for the farmers, additional benefit is they are getting advisories directly from us. That is a good quality messages. And for IKSL people, IKSL, they are expanding their base obviously. So we are providing information in 16 categories. So out of those 5 messages, 3 messages, I think one is common across the state, and 2 is common across the that particular district, and the other 2 generally partners like ICRISAT or any other partner they used to provide specifically. This is what we are doing. This is a completely financially sustainable model. If you can compare this Krishivani services with Voice KVK, where we were incurring around 1.8 lakh rupees for each day for to pushing the messages, we are paying that amount to the mobile service providers. So finally, our aim is to, this is already financially sustainable. So Krishi Jnana Sagar also, we are developing this on partnership basis. So finally, we wanted to make this green tablet as a financially sustainable product. So we have received a award from Flame Awards for showcasing innovative use of technology of the decade recently. So the panel topic is participatory video extension by using cell phone projectors. We have got a new gadget. Neeraj should be explaining about that.
I think yesterday you had this session on participatory video extension program where Srinivas has explained about how to develop the videos and all. So we are using these two tools to disseminate that video produced from the field. So we have these two tools, like one is the Pico projector. Otherwise, what we needed is like we have to have a complete infrastructure for showcasing those videos or any information on a particular subject area. So the small Pico projector. This is the Pico projector that we are giving to that particular area, the farm facilitators. So it comes with, once it is charged, it will have a battery backup of around 4 hours. So it doesn't need any infrastructure. We can use these videos and just put a pen drive and we can connect that and we can use to share the information on a particular subject areas or the information. You just play a one video. So the idea of using this participatory extension video is like the farming community sees the trust factor involved when they see their own fellow farmers in these videos. So that is the whole idea of the participatory video extension approach. So this is very handy, very portable. We can carry with us anywhere and we can show this video. So now the next thing is like how we can bring, again it's a separate device. How is it possible that we can bring this Pico projector in the same tablet? So we have this one tool which is a mobile phone again. You can have a look on this one, which has the inbuilt Pico projector as well in this one. So again, you did not need to have a separate device. So it's good as well as the Pico projector, and you can just will play one video here. Same video in the mobile phone. You can have a look on this. Yeah, this is because the lights and all around. It's very clear videos. It's not meant for this much big room. We have to have a small members, some 5-10 members sitting in a close proximity, and yeah.
That is for the audience of 10 to 15 people in a small room. The phone now, is it? It's a phone. The cell phone only. iPhone cell. 14,000 rupees. Now, what we wanted to have is
This is just like any normal phone, but it has that. No, it's configured. It's already there. It's a hardware component actually.
actually we wanted to, now we have Krishi Jan Sagar, Krishi Vani in this. We have green SIM inserted into this one as well as Krishi Jan Sagar application. Now we wanted to have that projector thing also to be included, get included here. We are working towards that one with systems. So once we get that, we will have a full thing available in single gadget.
So rather than having a different tools and all, we're trying to bring all those components in a single device.
And that's all about the applications.
The Pico projectors.
21,000 Indian rupees. Whereas cell phone is 14,000 Indian rupees. Now we have got Tentu Srinivas Rao, who is working as our video production manager. So he is working on various scripts for production of PGNP technology at Adakar. Pico, I think PVAR. The company name is PVAR. Portronics. PVAR Portronics. And the cell phone projector is a handy eyeball one. It is much better than that one, cost wise as well as convenient wise. It's very thinner and smaller than that one. We need to use Wi-Fi connection. Yes. Yes, in that case we can connect it to the computer by using a charger. USB cable, you can connect it to the computer, or the mobile can get connected to the Wi-Fi connection, and because that is also Android one only, we can browse the internet and we can upload the internet. Only thing is, it is not convenient. It's very small screen, so may not be convenient to upload the video to the website.
If it's like a professional video, so in that case we have to develop that video and transfer to the phone. But in case we just want to share some information right away, we can record with this mobile phone itself and project it with a different location.
No, it's available in the market. Eyeball. Andy eyeball projector. It's available in the market. It's a dual SIM phone. You can insert 2 SIMs into that one. If no questions are there, shall we break for lunch? Yeah. Yeah.
knowledge centers, and we also see ITC project. We have the e-chapel where there are local people, community people are engaged in that process. So when we see the technology is coming into the scene, the delivery of extension services, it seems to be more, it's getting privatized, and there are attempts to recover the cost of the existing. So how you see the future of agricultural extension? Yes, initiated those questions. Whether it's more likely to be the role of private sector or the paid extension services likely to be emerged in the future?
What we feel is the traditional extension system is very important and it will stay there. And only thing is where so many gadgets are coming up, so many technologies are coming, like tablets are there, Android's operating system has open source things are coming up. We need to utilize those technologies to augment the existing system. If some private agency comes and he is providing better services, it's up to the farmers which service they need to take. But obviously we need to use the rise of ICT devices, handheld devices for further augmenting the traditional extension system. That's what we feel. Yeah, anyhow, it is not going to replace the traditional extension. It is going to be there. Only for strengthening the existing system, we need to use these ICT devices.
But what I see, there is no institutional convergence between the technology and the existing traditional system. Rather than we are trying to create a separate pool of existing system, like with the info entrepreneurs or village knowledge over and so information center.
That is, I think,
There
specific
is no
to.
convergence between public sector and these technology owners.
Oh, we are working with government also. We are working with agriculture university also. Their infoentrepreneur concept is not there. It depends upon location and again in Karnataka